Hello, welcome to another World of UX podcast. This is your host, Dr. Darren Hood. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. Welcome those of you who are listening for the first time. We're going to take a little bit of a break from the current series where we've been talking about harsh truths associated with UX maturity, helping people to understand what UX maturity is, what it's about, and the various applications that a lot of people do not consider, that do not come to mind, things that are being overlooked. We've been talking about all those things on the current series. We're going to take a break from that this week and next. Today, we've got another one of those from the heart sessions. It's something like the potpourri, but I'm just talking to you from the heart in this episode. I'll let you know what that topic is going to be in a few moments. And then next week, we have a very, very, very special session where I have started to interview peers, people that I look up to in the discipline, people who have a lot to offer, people who've been around for a long time. There's just a whole wealth of people out there who have a lot of great things to share with folks in the UX community. And so my schedule has freed up a little bit. And so now I'm able to have those people on the show. So we have an interview that we completed just recently with some of the brain trusts from Human Factors International. Love those folks over there. They are just dynamite. I love the work that they've been doing over there for years. They've always been near and dear to my heart since the moment I discovered them. It's a very enlightening session, and I think a lot of people will get a lot out of what they shared during that episode. But today, I want to talk to you from the heart. And I want to talk to you about my AI journey. My journey in artificial intelligence. I'm real big on people telling their stories. That's one thing that everybody has to share in their trek in user experience. How did you get into the discipline? How did you grow? What kind of hardships did you experience and overcome? What's been going on in your world? Where have you worked? All those different types of things. Everybody can talk about those things, and those types of stories always bring value. It's great to see what people have done, what they've overcome, what their challenges have been, things of that nature. For me, I shared my 10 biggest mistakes in my first From the Heart a few weeks ago. Today, I just want to talk about my journey in artificial intelligence. And I'm posting this because it's just heavy on my heart right now to share what's going on, what has gone on with me from an AI perspective. But I also have people asking me what my take is on AI. So I'm going to start responding to that with this From the Heart session. We are going to have one, if not two episodes in the UX maturity series that are focused on artificial intelligence. But I just want to share my story today. Very lighthearted today, but very, very sincere. I'm always very, very sincere and very, very heartfelt. But this one straight from the bottom of my heart, just sharing some things today in hopes that it will inspire somebody and help somebody overcome the hype. People just keep hyping this stuff up. And we really have to labor to make sure that we don't become victimized by hype. So I'm hoping that this story that I share with you today, my account, will help. So roughly, folks, about 3 to 4 years ago, the AI hype train began. I think a lot of people, either AI was already on the upward trajectory, or people you were here, and just like other things that rose up over the years in UX, you're here and all of a sudden this new thing gets introduced. And please know and understand, AI is not new. It just ramped up 3 to 4 years ago. So please make sure you're hearing me the right way here. I'm talking about the beginning of the hype train. So when the hype train began, I am very hype averse. I am not going to jump on the bandwagon for anything, which is sort of weird because I am an early adopter. Anytime something new comes on the scene, I get curious and I want to dive into it because I want to know. But I did recognize that a lot of what was being said about AI didn't really fit that early adopter kind of mindset to me. For some people, maybe, but this is my AI journey. So I'm telling my story. For me, it was extremely hype oriented. People wanted you to opt in without any validation whatsoever, without any proof, without any supporting data. And there were people who I know who were diving in and they were doing all kind of stuff and they were enjoying the ride and good. That's their story. For me, I was not going to get involved because the way that AI was being presented initially to people in UX circles, it was being presented in a way where it was like a crutch. It's going to help you. It's going to do things for you. And then on top of that, they kept talking about how great it was, even though they were offering zero proof. And at one point in time, 85% of what AI was generating was found to be incorrect. I knew that. So I was not opting in. I didn't need AI to help me design anything. I didn't need AI to help me to do any research. I didn't need AI to provide me any strategic input. Based on the way that AI was being quote unquote sold, I didn't have a use for it. So I didn't use it. But you're going to see a pivot here. I think it's a very interesting pivot, and it shows my evolution with regard to AI. And for the record, I am pro AI today, but that comes with a caution. And anytime we take on anything, it doesn't matter whether it's AI, it could be anything. It could be mobile phones, it could be different computers, it could be anything. If you don't approach it with a critical thinking mindset, if you don't approach it with a healthy sense of caution, then you're going to commit more errors than you would otherwise. So you have to be cautious. It's important. It's a wise thing to do. And so we need to make sure that we have that mindset. And I did. The hype, complete rejection. Wasn't having anything to do with the hype. So I absolutely would not use AI for my UX work. No way in the world was I going to opt in and do anything like that. If you turn the clock back, knowing what I know now, because I know where to apply it, I would have used it. But back then, no, I did not. And it was automatic rejection. Anytime somebody started talking about AI, I wasn't interested, because all the presentations that I was hearing was either hype oriented, it was presented through fear mongering, it was not presented in a constructive way. And it was not presented in a way, for the most part, that respected the intelligence of the people who were partaking of the messages. So no, I wasn't interested at all. However, I was keeping my eye on AI. I was looking at progress that was being made. I was looking at constructive elements, trying to find them, trying to digest them. So I started looking for opportunities. And so, as I often do, and some of you who are familiar with me and you are familiar with my content, you will recognize the fact, I don't say it a whole lot, but I have said it before. I'm real big at eating my own dog food, as the saying goes. In other words, if you're prescribing something, if you're recommending something, you should be the first person doing it. As some people would say, I'm supposed to be the first partaker of the fruit. And so I began to, as I started to expand my sentiment toward AI, I started to eat my own dog food. And something that I always have said and talked about, and this is the part that I'm referring to specifically, that anytime you want to accelerate your learning, anytime you want to really wrap your mind around something, new technology, new approach, whatever it might be, the dog food that I'm referring to is latch on to the thing at a personal level. And if you latch on to the thing at a personal level, it will cause you to learn faster. It will cause you to digest the pros and the cons in a constructive way. So I was creating my own constructive environment associated with artificial intelligence. And that became the doorway. What did I do? Of course, it's going to happen by way of apps. So what I did was, one of the first things I ever did from an AI perspective was to start using Grammarly. And I started using Grammarly during the pursuit of my PhD, it was a huge help to have recommendations to write something and then have Grammarly find something that you didn't see, maybe a typo, maybe the wrong word here or there. It was nice to have that help. So it wasn't a crutch because I didn't want a crutch, but assistance, absolutely welcome. I welcome real, genuine assistance. And that's what Grammarly gave me. Grammarly was a tremendous help. And so I've been using Grammarly now for about 4 years. Now it was the first thing that I started doing. But again, at a personal level, I was not using Grammarly at work until recently, but I use it now, but I didn't use it back then. But I start using it more and more and more. I started using an app called Elicit to accelerate the research that I was doing for my PhD. It was helping me find relevant papers that I could use, peer-reviewed papers that I could use that was supporting my pursuit of my doctoral degree. So that was really critical. Again, on the personal level. The big one, the big splash that happened for me was with health apps. And people who talk to me a lot know about the weight that I've lost over the years and a lot of different things that I did. I'm big on Aura Ring. I'm big on the Ultra Human Ring. I'm big on the Apple Watch. I'm big on the Whoop Band. I'm big on the Amazfit Helio. I'm actually calling out devices that I'm wearing right now. I'm not a diabetic, but I have been tracking my blood sugar and biohacking, in other words, hacking my metabolism for the last 2 years. And the last 50 pounds that I lost or so have been due to me hacking my metabolism and using data, and not only using the data that's coming through all these devices, but engaging with AI to help make more sense out of that data. Again, Aura, Whoop, an app called Peak Watch is really a health data aggregator. Bevel, that's a health data aggregator. More aggregators, Livity, Athletic. These are apps that I have used and where all the data is coming in from all the devices. And then some of these aggregators take that data, they process it, they let you know exactly what's going on with your body. They let you know exactly what's going on with your sleep. They know exactly what's going on, or they let you know exactly what's going on with your recovery, what's going on with your oxygen levels. And then the aggregators will give you recommendations based on all of that data. It's just fantastic stuff. And I use that to govern what I'm doing. And I can actually enter into a conversation with AI, ask questions about that data to even fine tune the processing of the data, the way that it's serving it up. So that's been huge for me. I recently started using Nano Banana for generation of images. I did not use ChatGPT. I was definitely not interested in using ChatGPT, but I found that ChatGPT sometimes does an absolutely better job creating images than Nano Banana does. So I've started to use that. Post-production work on my podcast, I use Descript. I've started posting shorts. I'm starting to produce content on TikTok. I'm starting to put shorts on YouTube. I'm starting to put shorts everywhere from a social media perspective. You name it, I'm out there, whether it's Threads, whether it's Mastodon, goodness, all of them, I'm out there. So I'm putting all this information out there, and AI is actually not only helping me in the generation of the shorts through Descript, but it's also helping me to optimize how I'm configuring some of my posts. And I'm starting to see nice return on that investment. So it's pretty cool to see all those things and to see what AI does well, what it doesn't do well, and make decisions. Don't just take what AI gives you, I have learned, but you go, you know what? That's pretty good. I like that. I'll tweak it a little bit here, but I like that. And one of the beautiful things I found is that AI can help you do things in a fraction of the time. I love what someone said recently, a shout out to this nameless individual. He said, AI can get you 70% of the way there. Well, that's a start. And that 70% of the way that AI gets you is faster than if you did it on your own. I recently conducted some competitive analysis research, and I completed approximately 20 companies I looked at when I did this competitive analysis work. And I've done competitive analysis work for years. The way that I did it with I was able to accomplish the same thing in, wow, 100th of the time. I completed this work in minutes. And if I had done the same thing 5 or 10 years ago, it would have taken me no less than 1 month to complete it. So now I'm 70% of the way there. And now I'm tapping into subject matter experts to help evaluate the authenticity, the trustworthiness, and the reliability of the data that was gathered so that we can now move forward faster and make more impact. So AI is really, really helping with all of these things. And I almost forgot about one huge personal milestone that I achieved because I'm going back to school again. Somebody like, Darren, when are you going to stop? Never. I'm going back to school and I'm going to get a master's in artificial intelligence, strategy, and innovation. And when I was trying to make a decision of what university to go to, I tapped into my fave, perplexity. I also learned about a stack mentality. A shout out to someone else who talked about a stack mentality, and I was doing it. I referred to a stack with my wearables, but I didn't think of a stack from an AI perspective. And I love what that person said because he was saying that the stack mentality is the way to go. There is no one AI that's better than all the rest, and you're going to find one and you're going to ride with that one. Instead, you put together a stack. And so you use different AI solutions for different things. As I mentioned, I use Nano Banana for images. I use ChatGPT for images. I do most of my heavy lifting from an AI perspective in Perplexity. I've started to, finally, after all this time, I started to trust and use ChatGPT for certain things. Definitely not for others. There's really some interesting stories out there about how heinous some of this stuff can be if you engage with AI the wrong way. But I am starting to use ChatGPT. I use Duck AI. That's one of the first ones that I started using confidently. And then I found out that Duck AI is really a white box Claude. I use Claude at work. So that's my stack. But back to my school story, I use Perplexity to to find and evaluate different institutions of higher learning where I could pursue a master's degree in artificial intelligence that was not technologically focused. I don't want to do any programming at all. So to find a program that was focused more on the strategic side of things, how are we handling things from a business perspective? That's what I wanted to learn. That's what I wanted to focus in. I do those types of things at work as well. Perplexity helped me to find the different programs, to evaluate the different programs. It served up the information for me so I could make a sound decision. And I was able to go back out and validate to confirm that the information that was served up to me was indeed trustworthy. I don't have to believe AI at face value. Nobody's asking anybody to do that. The people who do are being irresponsible. We don't want to do that. As I said all the time, AI can be wrong. And the last thing I wanted to do was to go to a program based on getting bad advice from AI. And if you're not careful, you will get bad advice from AI. I'm sure people have heard that AI can be sycophantic. I learned that it is sycophantic. And the beautiful part is I recognize when it gave me information that was off in some way, form, or fashion. I know off is not a technical term, but you know what I mean. Something was wrong. And I found Claude does this more than any other resource that I've used in my journey. And I called Claude out in the moment. Hey, did you make that up? Why is it? There seems to be something a bit slanted about what you just told me. And it'll always come back and say, yes, you're correct. I could do a little bit better with that. And then come back and give me something that's actually trustworthy. So you have to know how to engage with AI to make it fruitful, to make it beneficial, to make it trustworthy. So you don't have quote unquote buyer's remorse because the wrong information was served up to you and you didn't have the wherewithal or the ability, you didn't have a filter to recognize that something was wrong with what it offered you. So thankfully, I had the ability to do that. And so now I'm going to Wake Forest. Wake Forest. I looked at Georgetown. There was a few other institutions I'm not going to call out here today. Georgetown was actually my choice, but it cost a little bit too much for me. I was happy with everything that I saw about Wake Forest. So shout out to all the folks at Wake Forest and the different people who helped me on board as I went through the application process. And I have been accepted and I'm on my way and I begin that journey in a month. So really, really great stuff that happened to me. But through all those exposures at the personal level, I developed understanding. Again, where does AI best fit? Where does it not best fit? What is it good at? What is it not so good at? Where does it excel? And so I was able to learn at the personal level, and that prepared me to transition into the work. It helped me develop confidence using artificial intelligence. I started analyzing research data. I started, as mentioned earlier, conducting competitive analyses. I started evaluating the best opportunities for design processes. I started to learn about and engage in managing and implementing agentification efforts. I learned about HITL, or human in the loop, and where it's best suited when it comes to what we're designing or the work that we're doing as well. I once generated a style guide for a one-off project where there's a design system, but I had one project that was not going to be, and there was no requirement for it to be reflective of the design system. So I just went into AI and I created a style guide. I rolled that out and the third party ran off and they did everything based on the style guide that was generated. Of course, after it was generated, I went through it, I signed off on it, and then I went ahead and submitted it and off they go. And that style guide was created pretty quick. And we didn't have to do any long drawn out things to get that into a position where it wasn't easy to hand off and where it was problematic. It was very easy for people to apply, very easy to generate, very easy for me to review. And that's something that had it not been for AI, it would have taken me maybe a few hours to do. But when you have a whole lot on your plate, one of the best things you can have is something that you can tap into that can do some menial and static oriented tasks quickly and efficiently, and at least get you 70% of the way there. Now we're talking, because now we can move fast. Now we can bring value. And this is also another reason why expertise is so critical, because the more expertise you have, the better position you're going to be in to manage artificial intelligence. So that goes back to my talk recently about the importance of UX fundamentals. If you want to thrive as a UX professional in this day and age and where everything is shifting, you've got to become grounded in the fundamentals if you're not there already. When you know about all the fundamentals, when you know about the heuristics, when you know about usability, when you're well-versed when it comes to information architecture, the different types of UX research, how to implement them and do it the right way, how to not just develop a UI, anybody can develop a UI, but can you make sure that all the interaction design principles, the best practices associated with them are in place and reflected in the work that you have done? That expertise will help you to excel. And it'll help put you in a position where AI is not going to replace you. It's simply going to augment what you do. It's going to take you to another level and allow you to work faster. Really, really important. I use AI to review survey questions, to tweak them, to make sure that they're in a better position before we roll them out. And I even use them to analyze job postings. Folks, I highly recommend using AI to analyze job postings and even tweak your resume out there. There's so many different things that you truly can do with AI, where AI is not the threat that some people are positioning it as. So folks, in conclusion, I didn't use AI for work initially. I refused to, because I saw it as a crutch, and that's the way people were selling it to me. I was not a challenged individual, so I didn't need a crutch. But now I see it from a perspective of augmentation. I see it from a perspective of enhancement. I see it, most importantly, speed is the biggest benefit that I'm getting. Time saving, huge benefit when it comes to AI. So I'm glad that I kept looking. I'm glad that I kept learning. And I refused to buy it to the hype, but now I have a grounded, a very sober perspective when it comes to AI. And I'm looking forward to finishing the program at Wake Forest. I even went through an intensive at Harvard that talked about agentification and best practices associated with that. Just fantastic stuff. I'm learning how to engage with AI the right way. And I encourage all of you to do the same. You'll be better off for it. And it'll help you to present a better value proposition as you vault yourself forward in your career in user experience. That's it for today, folks. Just from the heart, straight from the heart. Thanks for taking the time to listen today. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends if you're benefiting from this show. We're just trying to help drive everybody in the UX discipline forward. We thank you for your support. Don't forget to go to kaizentees.com, KAIZENTEES.com. Check out the merch associated with the show. When you buy merchandise from the show, you're helping to support the podcast. We do this for free, but it's not free to produce. So anything that you do to help us is greatly appreciated. So until next week, this is Dr. Darren Hood, the host of The World of UX, wishing everybody all the best. And until next time, happy UXing, everybody.